Industrial production of beer. Beer is a fermented alcoholic beverages or alcoholic drinks. It is made from barley, wheat, rice. They are used, specially flavored with the hops flour. They are fermented with the help of yeast. Uh, Beverages. Beverages is a drinks. There are two types of beverages: alcoholic beverages and non-alcoholic beverages. Beer is alcoholic beverages. Alcoholic beverages, they are again divided into two types, such as carbonated alcoholic beverages and non-carbonated alcoholic beverages, that is distilled. So beer and wine is a carbonated alcoholic beverages, and distilled beverages, that is non-carbonated, that is rum, vodka, whiskey. These are the non-carbonated alcoholic beverages. And non-alcoholic beverages, some are the carbonated, such as soft drinks, sport drinks, they are carbonated, and some non-alcoholic beverages, they are non-carbonated, such as tea, coffee are the examples. Production process of beer, it includes the several steps. First is the microorganism, then medium component, then preparation of medium, or it is also called as wort in European countries, then fermentation process, maturation, carbonization, and packing. These are the steps involved in the production process. Microorganism, that is life of beer. Generally, selected strains of Saccharomyces cerevisiae or Saccharomyces carbonensis are used for the beer production. These are the very common strain which is used for the beer production. So, strains or microorganism, that is the life of beer. Microorganism or life of beer. Microorganism, that is yeast, which is used for the beer production. The yeast are classified into two types: top yeast and bottom yeast. There are two major types of beer based on the types of yeast or the fermentation. The top fermented beer, that is called AleMSTER. The top yeast, that is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, is used, and bottom fermented beer, that is lager beer, in which bottom yeast, that is Saccharomyces carbonensis, are used. Medium component. Ingredient of the beer. There is different ingredients are required for the beer production. Malt, which is prepared from the barley seeds; malt adjunctant, which is prepared from other grains; hops, that is dried hop flowers; and water as per the requirement. So these are the four major requirement of the ingredients for the beer production. First ingredient of the beer, that is malt. Malt is the main ingredients. It is prepared from the barley seeds. You want to select the proper barley seeds, good quality of the barley seeds, and which is used for the malt preparation. Preparation of malt. Malt is a key element. So barley grains are steeped in the water for 2 days. Then excess water you want to drain off. Then soaked grains are allowed to formation of rootlets. Keep it for 4 to 6 days for the germination. The germination steps allow the formation of active enzyme, flavoring compounds, and color components in the beer. So germination process is very important for the malt preparation. After the germination, or at the end of 4 to 6 days, temperature is just rise and then stop the germination. Then drying the seeds, and then grind all these barley seeds and convert into fine powders. That is called malt. The average composition of malt. Malt it contain malt it contain enzymes, proteins, growth factors, flavoring component. So average composition of this malt is contain starch, sugar, gum, cellulose, protein, fat. So fats, these are the basic ingredients which is present in the malt. The second ingredients, that is malt adjunctant. The unmalted cereals such as corn, rice, wheat, we can use for the preparation of malt adjunctant. This is the supplement of the additional starch or reduce the percentage of protein in the malt. It is provide better foam formation and color. Why there is a need of add to malt adjunctant in the beer? In many times, especially in American barley seeds, barley grains, they contain high amount of proteins. And if you are using such barley grains for directly the fermentation, then the beer, which is somewhat very dark in color and unstable. So we want to prevent this to add the malt adjunctant, that is additional starch. This additional starch can maintaining the stability of the beer. The third ingredient of the beer is the hops. They are dried female flowers of hop plants. These the hop seeds or the hop flowers, they are added for the flavor, color, aroma, and they also have the mild antibacterial activity, which prevent the spoilage of beer by bacteria. These hops flower, they also having the resins which contribute in the flavor formation, and it also having the tannin which coagulate the protein. The fermented medium or wort. Wort is a special word which is used in European countries. Wort is nothing but that is the fermented medium. This fermented medium can be prepared by in 4 steps. First, that is malt adjunctant. First, cook the malt adjunctant and gelatinize it at 65 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes. Then add malt with water into cook malt adjunctant in the ratio of 2/3 malt and 1/3 adjunctant. The third step of oat preparation, that is mashing. It is very important step. Mashing, in which various enzymes which is present in the malt, they act on the malt adjunctant and several reactions are take place and fermentable sugars is formed during the mashing. And the fourth step of this oat preparation, that is after filtration of the medium, after mashing, you want to boil that medium with the hops flour. That is the fourth step of the oat preparation. Fermentation process. The oat which is prepared by several steps, that oat you can cool it up to 3 to 4 degrees centigrade. Then this cooled oat is transferred into the fermenter vessel. That is the fermenter, which is vessel designed for the fermentation process. Then yeast culture is added in the fermenter and fermentation process is start. When fermentation process start, there is a evolution of CO2 which increase the foam formation, and the yeast cells, they are suspended in the medium. After 40 to 60 hours, the surface foam layer which is formed during the fermenter, it is very thick, and the temperature of the medium is increases up to 12 to 13 degrees centigrade, and which is the optimum temperature for the fermentation process. And this process is continue for next 5 days. CO2 is evolved and lower the foam formation, which collapse the foam formation after 7 to 9 days. In that period, the yeast are inactive, so we can stop the fermentation process. The beer fermentation or the manufacturing of beer is also called as brewing. Brewing means it is a complex fermentation process. There are several factors which is involved in the beer formation, and that is the addition of malt, addition of process of mashing, malt adjunctant, then addition of hops. So there are several factors are responsible for the formation of beer. That's why it is called as a complex fermentation, and it is also called as a brewing. It is a word which is used for to describe the complexity of the beer fermentation. Maturation, carbonization, and packing. These are the fifth stage of the beer fermentation. After the fermentation of the beer, the fermented beer, they are transferred for the maturation. That is in cold storage tank. The beer is stored at very low temperature, that is 0 to 3 degrees centigrade. The coldest temperature is help for the maturation of the beer. During this process, the various reactions or various activities are take place. That is, protein is coagulated, nitrogenous substance, resins, insoluble phosphate, the yeast cells. The yeast cells, they are sedimented from the beer. So various activities are take place during the cold storage maturation. After cold storage, clarification. Clarification is the process which gives the beer its clear limpid or the limpid quality, which is the clarification of beer, the eliminating the last remaining traces. Carbonization, it is a very important steps in the beer making. Carbonization, that is the injection of CO2. This carbonization, it takes place by the two methods. First, that is the injection of the CO2, which is recovered during the fermentation process, that can be used for the carbonization. Or in second step, that is Curson process, in which active fermenting yeast is added to provide the natural carbonization. That is called natural carbonization. Injection of CO2 is the most common method for the carbonation. Packaging. After cold storage or maturation of the beer, it is passed through the filter before the pack. The air is removed from the beer before the packing to avoid the oxidative change in the beer. However, pasteurization process, it can affect the flavor of the beer. So nowadays this pasteurization is avoided and using some biological filters for the sterilization, or some chemicals is also used for. This is overall beer production process, which indicate that is milling, mash, then brewing, fermentation. So it is overall process is described for the beer production. As I already told, there are two types of beer, and these types, that is based on the types of yeast. The top fermented beers, which is used the top yeast, they are called as ales, and the bottom fermented beer, in which bottom yeast are used, they are called as lager beers. The top fermented beer, in which yeast, they grow on the surface and floats on the surface of fermentation broth or fermentation tank. Some strains of Saccharomyces cerevisiae, they are used for the top fermented beer, and their temperature for the fermentation is 15 to 19 degree is sufficient. The characteristics of the top fermented beer, they are somewhat dark in color, higher in alcohol, and they have the more distinct flavor. The bottom fermented beer is also called as lager beer, in which Saccharomyces euum or Saccharomyces calbensis are used. These strains, they are grow at the bottom level, and the temperature for the fermentation is 2 to 6 degree. The character of the lager beer, they are somewhat pale in color, then they are having lower in alcohol, lighter in taste. Thank you. Thank you.